you know what happens if you lose your car at Disneyland? Do you know how they find your car? There's thousands of parking stalls there. What they do is they time you when you come in, and they know that you came in at 9:57, 9:58, 9:59, just like you folks. The $100 seats are up here, and you guys are choosing the cheap ones, and you created your own row. I'm okay with that. I'm glad you're here. I'm really glad you're here. I thank you for being here. I know that Lehigh, where are we? We're in Orem. Orem said you ought to come today, and it's good. The next hour is going to be just absolutely wonderful, I promise you, because we're going to be talking about relationships and how we get along with each other and how we like each other. But here's the golden question. Why do we have something? Oh, by the way, I love participation. I love it when you raise your hand and say, I got a story or something that relates to my department. The only negative about doing this for a mass group is we've got the policemen mixed in with the water guys, mixed in with rec center, so we have to kind of make it a little more general for this. So I love your participation. If you have something, just put your hand up and comment. I want to hear your comments. I don't want to hear me all day. Yes, thank you already for talking. What do you have to say?
My sweet husband next to me is saying, don't raise your hand. I just wanted you to know that.
Because she will.
This is good.
She just has to.
I like that.
Because you said, raise your hand. She
No. Apparently she's not getting enough customer service at home. And we're going to be talking about that. In fact, one of the questions I have right now on the sheet right there, I'm going to jump down before I ask my first question. I like you couple. By the way, if I have to put the women over here and the men here, I will
just
do
so
that.
you know, we call it the quiet game.
The woman's over 20.
Play the quiet game.
I never win.
Okay, that's wonderful. I love participation. I love when you interact with me. At least you're thinking about certain things here. Can you imagine going to a place and just hating going there? I hate going to businesses that just treat me horribly. Let's go down on our little sheet here. Down here, I ask a question. Who is a customer? Help me out here. Who is a customer for Orem City? Okay, everyone is a good answer, but I have three for you to really consider, okay? The people that are coming into our city, the guests, is what I like to call them. Where do I steal that word from? Where do I steal that? Who's been to Disneyland? Yeah, who goes to Disneyland at least once a year? Who are my Disney-aholics in here? Raise your hand higher than that. Be proud of who you are. Do I hear an amen from you, honey? Yes, I guess. I love Disneyland. Why do you go to Disneyland so frequently? What is wrong?
I love Disneyland.
She's so ashamed. I love Disneyland. I love Disneyland too. $100 a ticket now. It's gone up just for a one-day little pass there. The number one guest we have are the guests that come in to the city. The people that are paying our bills, the people that are keeping us employed. Can you imagine if everybody left and went to Goshen to live? First of all, you couldn't drink the water, right, water guys? They're still boiling, I think. Can you imagine if we just didn't have anybody moving into Orem? Orem is a very wonderful place to live. It's a very popular place. I graduated from Orem High, 1977, and not magna cum laude. I barely made it out of Orem High. The second customer we have is you. It's the employees. It's at Disneyland. Does anybody know what they call the employees that work at Disneyland? Cast members. You guys are on stage. You're cast members now. And the third one is for this couple back there. It's for all the other relationships that you already have, especially with your spouse and your children and the people you care about the most. It's really interesting that we treat the people that matter most to us sometimes the worst. And today we're gonna do things a little bit different to kind of change that a little bit. Why would Orem City? I'm at question number one now. Why would Orem City have me come? Why would Orem City have anybody come and talk about customer service when we are kind of a monopoly? We are the only game in town. I don't know how many other wastewater treatment plants they could choose from or police services. Why Orem? Help me out here. Why does Orem need that? Not that you need it. Why are we doing it?
Continue to be the best. Did you want me to just come
I want you to, no, please don't. No. Yes, you may come up here if you want. Yeah, we want to be the best. Why else? Why are there other choices for services? And yes.
Because I matter. Everybody matters. And so even if I'm the only service available, that other person, and I'll include myself, matter. We're important. And
You do matter. Where is my girl that was telling me about the story about walking into the restaurant and waiting 25 minutes to be even Where are you? Kathleen, is it you? Tell me about that story. Kathleen's got a great story. Do you mind telling it? Do you want me to tell it? I can embellish and do it.
I live up in Harriman, there's a Chili's up there. We've been going there for years. One night we go in there, they wave at us, we go sit in the bar area. They know we're there. 25 minutes later, nobody's come to give us a glass of water, take our order, anything. So we get up to leave, and as we're walking out, the hostess says, "So how was your dinner?" We said, "We don't know, we're never served." She gets this bright look on her face, this woman would get the manager, it's like, "No, we're not waiting any longer," and we've not been back.
Ouch, we got 100 people in here right now who know never to go to Harriman. I'm from the Chili's,
Yeah,
right? Never pass through Harriman in the night, right? Yeah.
it's a scary place.
No, it's a wonderful place. No, it's really interesting. Think about the place. Let's define good customer service. To you, what is good customer service? And if you can't think of a definition of it, think of a place before that you've been to that you just absolutely love it because of the way that they treat you, the way that you feel. What is good customer service?
Nordstrom.
Say that again.
Nordstrom.
Nordstrom, you have make too much money here, you're going to get a paid off or whatever you said. Why do you like Nordstrom so much? They're not even around anymore, are they? They're not at the mall
I go
anymore.
to Salt Lake to shop at Nordstrom.
You travel to go out of your way to go to some place like Nordstrom, and why?
Because they have product selection that I like, and because they have people who come up to speak to me and take my clothes and take them off and put them in a room for me, and they come out.
Now,
and
I was
get
going to
sizes
start
that I need.
picturing what was happening right there. That is more than I needed to know. They do. And in fact, Nordstrom is so good at this kind of stuff. There's books written about Nordstrom and the way they do things, that they'll take down your name and your number, and they know you. That personal touch is really good. What's another definition or another place of good customer service? Yes.
I think good customer service is a great product delivered in a great package.
So you like the product and the packaging part of it.
I think you have to have both. I mean, that's the thing. If it's a very pleasant experience, but the product is not up to par, that's not great customer service.
I have a little survey right down here. You just made me think of something that I want to talk about right now, and that is why do customers leave? 1% die. It's horrible. Every time we do this for a mortuary, they laugh and they say, well, actually, it's more like 100% of our customers are dead. You know? But they're not. The people that are alive make that kind of decision. 5%, or excuse me, 3% move away. They just, they head to Harriman, I guess. 5% have a friend who kind of persuades them to go buy something else. For example, they're tired of the Orem Rec Center and they say, come with me to Gold's Gym or Vossa or whatever it's called right now. 9% leave. Why do 9% leave? Let me go to 9% just a minute because it just slipped my mind. I was thinking of 14% because you made me think 14%, and that is product dissatisfaction. Okay? Oh, 9% is competition. 9% is competition. The 14% leave because you got a rotten product. And in Orem, we don't have a rotten product in your particular case, but you know what? 68%, you should know what that is. It's the perception that you don't care. It's the perception that you just do not care whether they come in or buy or not. So now, let me be a little negative here for just a minute. And you can use examples in Orem City or in other cities if you'd like. We know what good customer service is. It's the way you're treated and people looking at you and listening to you and all that good stuff. Bad customer service, of course, is just the opposite. But give me some examples, if you've got any examples, of bad customer service, not only in our city, but elsewhere. Well, you were just standing up on it. Wait, the Orem post office? Of course, that's federal, right?
I'm sorry, I've never had a good customer service.
Why does the post office get such a bad rap? And a lot of people view that as part of Orem, believe it or not, even though it's not. It's a federally funded, federally run type of place. Why does the post office not only lose money, which, if you think about it, being the monopoly they are, they should probably be making tons of money. Because it's a wonderful service. You put a 49-cent stamp on something and it goes anywhere in the country. Why does the post office have a bad rap? Help me out. Yes.
I feel like I always have to wait,
Yeah.
and that there's no communication until I get to the front, to the actual person who's assisting me.
There is no communication because you are in a line with the multiple kinds of forms that you're supposed to fill out, and you're right, there is no communication. Yes, you in the back. Yes, you and the light.
Not all of them, but a lot of them are just like in and out. There's no friendliness. It's just like,
It is, and it's almost methodical, it's almost robotic, yes.
The people who work there, I kind of wonder how they've lived to this age, because some of them can't walk and chew gum at the same time. So I perceive that the service is very poor. I find myself standing in line, not that one, not that one, not that one, please not that one. Because I know if I get that one, it's gonna take you 10 minutes longer
Yeah.
than somebody else. So I perceive that the staff isn't well trained and efficient.
They could have the most ultimate product, as could Orem City. You folks really do have a good product, but people forget that kind of stuff. Where's my firefighters? We've got 2 of you in here. Good, now you get to talk, husband. Where's the pink? Oh, there's your pink. I was getting worried there a minute. Officer, or chief, or whatever you are, what do people remember after you go on a call for whatever reason? What do people remember about the event?
How nice the firemen were.
They don't remember how confident you were. They don't remember that you just brought them back to life and then boom, they come up, they're resurrected, and they remember that you had good breath and that you said, thank you for letting us serve you today, as they were bleeding all over the ground. People remember that. They don't remember the product. The product is a good thing, but you will remember how you're treated a lot longer after than what the product is. That's why price is not always the main thing. In fact, there's a interesting thing, this is not on your sheet, but an interesting quote about that price, I can't find it really quick, that price is not the most important thing in making a decision. That's why we're willing to pay more at Disneyland. I went to the Disney University of Customer Service. Fascinating. These guys are the pros. In fact, after I was done at the event, there was a guy, his name was Bob Spina. Bob Spina was giving a presentation like I was, and he kept on quoting out of this book called Be Our Guest. And I thought he was going to give us one, and I went up to Bob after, and I said, Bob, how come we don't get a book like this? He says, well, they're kind of internal, and they're with the Disney Institute. And he said, give me your business card. And I gave him my business card, and a week later, Bob Spina sends me my own personal copy, which I hold near and dear to my heart now. Not because it's a $5 item, it's really it's a cheap item. It's because I remember how Bob treated me. And he wrote a little note here, which people don't do anymore. Because if you notice, the art of handwriting is going away. We're going to talk about communication in a minute, but thank you for attending our Disney Institute program. We enjoyed sharing the business behind the magic. That's why Disney can make money. Look at this. Interesting numbers about Disney on how much money they make. This is in billions. In 2006, which is not that long ago, 6. Then the next year, 7, 8. Then in 2009, it went back down to 6. Why? What happened in 2008? The economy tanked. Okay, but it went down to 6, then 7, 8, 9, 10, 13. It's all how you treat people. It's just the way that people remember how good you were and what you felt towards them. So now we're going to go to one little movie segment. This is a classic movie, Orem City put it together. Can you see it over the board? Okay, well, you got boards everywhere. This is just like a multimedia room. This is a little segment from the movie Dumb and Dumber. Who laughed? This is a great show. This is a classic show. It's put up by the LDS Church. It should have been. I mean, it's just it's a wonderful movie. This is a segment at the beginning of the movie when Lloyd Christmas is going to go pick up somebody to the airport. Your Lloyd Christmas. The girl behind the door is our guest and the other people that you work with here. And I want you to watch and see what they do and see what you like and what you don't like. Hey, where's my assistant? Peter? Like.
Hello, how are you? I'll be out in 1 minute.
Why you go to the airport? Flying somewhere?
How'd you guess?
Well, I saw your luggage. And when I noticed the airline ticket, I put 2 and 2 together. So where are you headed?
Aspen.
California. Beautiful. Name's Christmas. Lloyd Christmas.
I'm Mary Swanson.
This isn't my real job, you know.
No?
Nope. My friend Harry and I are saving up our money to open our own pet store.
That's nice.
I got worms.
I beg your pardon?
That's what we're going to call it. I got worms. We're going to specialize in selling worm farms. You know, like ant farms. What's the matter? A little tense about the flight?
Something like that.
There's really nothing to worry about, Mary. Statistically, they say you're more likely to get killed on the way to the airport. You know, like in a head-on crash, or flying off a cliff, or getting trapped under a gas truck. That's the worst. I have this cousin. Oh, I have
Could you keep your eyes on the road, please?
Our theme today is being a customer service ACE. That's all you have to remember. Attitude, communication, empathy. This little clip showed it all. The reason for the dice is so that every time you think of it, you don't think of gambling. You think that I'm a customer service ace, that I have this master. What did you like about this movie? What did you know? Not what you don't dislike. I don't want to hear that. But what did you notice about him, his attitude, his communication, and his empathy? Name one thing. Help me out here. Oh, somebody's got something to say. I know that. This is the communicating room. Yes.
He thinks everything is just positive.
It was. He didn't even know who was going to be behind that door, and noticed that his attitude right away just said positive. I know it's overreacting where he just about fainted because he was in love, but can you imagine if we treated the people that came in our care and the amount of touches you had today, and how people noticed that immediately? What else did you notice about this? What about his communication skills? What did you notice there? Yes, in the back?
Eye contact?
Yes! Yes! No, I know this is an exaggeration, him turning all the way around, but he had really good eye contact. But what made him turn around? Kind of an empathy thing type of thing. What did he do?
He noticed she was nervous with her hand.
And he just noticed little tiny movements of the hand in that communication. What's the matter? Which is a great skill, by the way. What is the skill that I just used? If you want to know about something, what do you do?
Ask a question.
Like I'm doing it now, right? See, the person who asks the question is kind of in control of the situation, just like I'm doing. And it's a wonderful skill. Let's talk about attitude. I'm going to spend the most time on this. Get out your pink sheet. You don't, by the way, these sheets are for you. We're not going to turn them in at the end. This is just if you want to write down some notes. These are things that I've learned over the years about customer service. And I start with the attitude because it always starts with you. It doesn't start with the guest. It doesn't start with the guest and what their mood is. It starts with you and how you can control your mood. Number one, believe that you are able to change. Let's get that on the table right now, that you have the ability. I realize there's certain things in your life that you cannot change. I cannot change how tall I am. I can't change my skin color, but I can change how I view these kind of things. Number two, identify and understand what you want to change. On the back side, that's for you to take home. These are just questions to ask about your attitude. These are things that you can identify and understand what you want to change. Number three, I want you to choose to have a good attitude. Many years ago on American Idol, there was a performer named Chris Medina. Chris Medina had gotten married a few years earlier. Does anybody know this story that would like to tell it? You know, it's a very fascinating story. You like American Idol. Everybody loves American Idol, okay? Chris Medina got married a few years earlier, came to the show, American Idol, but a couple of months after he got married, his wife got into an accident, became a paraplegic. He stayed with her. And the announcer really cracked me up. The announcer said, "Why would you stay with your paraplegic wife? That's horrible." Here's what he said. He said, "What kind of guy would I be if I walked out when she needed me the most?" Isn't that, I mean, talk about choosing the right attitude. I know it probably has nothing to do with Orange City, but you have that ability, which leads me to number four, counting your blessings. This is all part of attitude. We live in America, folks. Most of us live in America. This is a wonderful country. We're in a fabulous facility. We have water that we can drink. We have toilets that flush. How many of you have ever been to Tijuana? How many of you have a summer home there? Do you have a summer home there anymore? Or did you sell it? You just sold it, huh? You go to the border of Tijuana. What is one of the good things or one of the bad things about Tijuana? Why am I saying count your blessings and bring in old poor Tijuana into the story? What's wrong with Tijuana? Help me out here. Why did I use them? Some of you will probably be very offended right now. Put it on the green sheet if you don't like this part. Just say, I hate this story about Tijuana. Why am I dissing Tijuana right now? It is. What does it smell like? How many of you have eaten a taco there? What you do is you go to the border, you take a taxi, put the whole family in the taxi, they don't care how many people, $5, they'll take you to the middle of the town. By 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you'll be doing what my family did. Hailing a taxi, and the taxi driver says, you want to go back to the border? He says, yes, now. And I said, how much? And he says, $20. They said, it was $5 to get into town. He says, yeah, $20 to get out. And I said, I'll pay you $40. And we got out, you know. Count your blessings, folks. Look around. There's a great quote that says, he who hath too much, he who complaineth too much, hath too much. And if you don't like your life, then you have that ability to change. Were you going to say something?
I went to Peru and Ecuador this year, yay, to Machu Picchu. And when we got home, what we were most grateful for is we could flush our toilet paper.
Really? I don't dare ask what you did with it in Machu Picchu. No, I didn't want to know what you did. I didn't want to know that. It's true. It's true. And a lot of times, you just need to leave the country a little bit to say, you know what? I got to change my attitude right now. Because the things that other people, we take for granted, other people are begging for. Okay, and I don't want to belabor the point, but it's just an important point. Number 5 is my most important point. That is, don't let others choose your attitude. Okay, I'm going to tell you a negative story, but it's such a good story. It's a good story. I went to the Washington, D.C., to the Holocaust Museum. Anybody been to the? It's incredible. It's intense. Did you like it?
Terribly depressing.
It was. But I learned so much about choosing one's attitude. Because I learned about a fellow, his name was Viktor Frankl. And Viktor Frankl wrote a book. He was put into the concentration camps. And again, you might be thinking, wow, can he think of a better example? No, you'll remember this example because it's really intense about choosing attitude. Viktor Frankl was put into a concentration camp. He survived, his family did not. After he got out of the concentration camps and became a wonderful psychotherapist, he wrote a book called Man's Search for Meaning, which is a great, great book. Talk about choosing your attitude. He has a quote that is just wonderful to me. He said, we who lived in concentration camps can remember the men who walked through the huts comforting others, giving away the last piece of bread. They may have been few in number, but they offer sufficient proof that everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, and I love this part, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. That's just it. He has another quote. He says, between stimulus, something happening to you, and your response, what you do, is there's this period in there where you can decide what you're going to do. You're not animals. You're human beings who have that ability to kind of slow down and make that choice. Now, that's the most negative story I will tell you, but it's one that every time I think of that, I think, okay, I can choose my attitude no matter how bad it gets. Now, your guests who come in don't always come in with a good attitude, but you can. Leads me to my next point. Learn from the bad people. Learn from the bad. Whatever happens to you negative in your life, learn from it. Take that as a, look at the times in your life when you've grown the most. It's usually when something horrible has happened in your life and you've got to learn from that and go up. Number 7, I want you to control your thoughts. Well, you can control your thoughts. So I come home, this is not a religious story, but I am LDS. I come home from my mission to Japan. I am high strung. You think I was bad then? You should, well, no, wait, you should see me now. No, if you think I'm bad now, you should see me. I was just out of my mind. So my parents sent me down to BYU, to a therapy clinic. And it was really, they set me in this couch, and they put electrodes on me. And they said, look at the screen. This is back in 1979 or 80. Look at the screen. We are going to monitor your heartbeat, your temperature, your pulse. So I said, I can't do that, I can't do that. It's just going off the roof. And I was able to control all these things in my life. I was able to control my thoughts. And my thoughts controlled my respirations and my pulse and my temperature. It's amazing what power you have over your own brain. Next one. This is worth writing down too. Look for role models in your life. People that you want to hang out with, work, home, school, play, wherever, that have the kind of attitude you want, and copy them, emulate them. Number 9, monitor your feelings, which is similar to controlling your thoughts. Your feelings are a good indication of what is going on inside of your heart. So monitor your feelings. Number 10, laugh more. Laughing feels good. I love laughing. I love the feeling that I get. Even in tense situation, it just relieves things. Number 11, help others. All this helps you control your attitude. When you help somebody, you're giving away yourself now, and thus in that turn, you feel energized. Number 12, surround yourself with positive people. And number 13, stop being the victim. And a couple more. Number 14, I want you to take a passionate action for your life. I want you to get up in the morning and love coming to work in Orem City, whatever you do. And I have permission to say this. If you don't really like it, you ought to consider another career path. Can you imagine the 8 most productive hours of your life, or 10 hours, or however long you're here, are a place that you dislike? You've got to really get up and just get up in the morning and say, this is what I really enjoy doing. If not, you got to change that. Number 15, read positive books and inspiring books and CDs and anything that makes you feel good. If it makes you feel bad, it's not good for the attitude. Number 16, I've got 3 more. Wake up early. I don't want to get into the benefits of that, but there are good benefits. Number 17, plan your week and your day. This gives you a control over your life. When you have control, you have a much better attitude. The final one is I want you to exercise. Because as Reese Witherspoon would say, what was the movie that she was in with Legally Blonde? Reese Witherspoon. What happens when you exercise? What is released? Who's seen this movie? Okay, I know my exercise person over here is just going nuts. I want to answer. What is released?
You get endorphins.
And what are endorphins?
Happy hormones.
And what do endorphins do with you and your relationship with your spouse, according to the movie?
Happy people don't kill their husbands.
That is correct. Thank you. And on that, we're going to end. Now, very good way. You got to be police department, right?
No.
Yeah, that's okay.
Animal shelter.
Don't kill the animals either, right? What do you do? Forget my little list right here. What do you folks do that you want to add to the group that is something that you do to control your attitude that helps you have a positive outlook on anything in life, no matter the negative or the positive? Does anybody have anything they'd like to add? Yes, you moved your hand. I'm an ex-teacher. You move. Do you have anything you want to say? Yes?
Just fix my glasses.
Okay, see, that's right. Yeah, I got all these eyes on me right now saying, I don't dare move. Yes.
Find somebody else to help that's worse off than I am.
I love that one. It's helping others, and especially somebody that's doing what matter, if that's a word, right? Or worser. Yeah. I graduated from Orem High. You know how to do this, right? Yes.
You know, one of the most empowering things I've ever done in my life was to really take a look at accountability and realize that nothing occurs in my space unless I have something to do with it. So just to go a little farther into that, I mean, I either create it, I call it forth, I generate it, I choose it, or I allow it. And sometimes the biggest place in my life is when I allow things that aren't working. So then it goes right back to the communication. And it all ties together, and the breathing, and the choosing how I feel, and being willing to learn what I just noticed, and then pick a different action.
I have a 19th one on here, which I don't really bring up in these kind of meetings, but I do sometimes. That is get spiritually connected, meaning your whole life is a whole. You cannot, as Stephen Covey would say, do something bad over here and not expect it to affect your life over here. You should be the same person at work, at home, at play, at school, at church, whatever you do, and it oozes out of you. Which leads me to my next topic. Get out the next color sheet of paper, which is whatever color that is. C, blue, communication. Communication. This is really important for you to know. And all the studies I say have said this, that 55% of your communication is your body language. It's you walking into a room. You can either be a petunia, Hawaiian mailele. You could be something. I grew up in Hawaii, so I love the smell of flowers. You could be a beautiful Hawaiian lei walking in a room, or you could be a stink bomb. It is amazing the power that you have when you walk in a room. Even you guys in engineering in the basement, it is amazing the power you have. You're probably saying, I don't want to sit here again, but this is your last time, right? 38% tone of voice. Tone of voice. And 7% are the words that you use. That's why we have a generation of kids who are losing this skill, in my opinion, that they don't get together again. few months ago, I was working with a group of young single adults, aged 18 to 30, and I was asked to give a talk to a bunch of group, to these kids. And it was like a meeting with a lot of them in the room. And my topic, how to date, how to ask a girl on a date without using technology. It's a skill. I think our generation, our kids down the road are going to have long thumbs, no ears, and no eyes because they're going to need to text really quick, right? Why would you need a mouth anymore? Body language, tone of voice, and the words that you use. So how do you communicate? Now I'm going to the pros. This is part of the textbook that I have, and this is, I'm stealing directly from Walt Disney. I hope it's on tape. Number one, this is what you want to do when you communicate, is we want you to be assertively friendly. I'm stealing from Disney. This is, no matter what the situation is, we want you to reach out. For example, if you're going to go to Disneyland, and you were a cast member working there, and a guest dropped their drink all over the ground, what do you think that they are taught to do at Disneyland when they see something like that? Help me out here. What do you think they do? Where's my Disney girl? Well, there
They
you are.
run over and help you pick it up.
Yeah, they'll run over. They're always assertively looking. They're being very friendly about that. And how do they make you feel for losing that $7 Coke?
They give you another one?
Yes,
sometimes?
yeah. That's your assignment. We all go to Disneyland, throw a Coke on the ground, and see what happens, right? And see where the people come out. It's really interesting. Another place that does this is I had a friend in California who was the chief financial officer for In-N-Out Burger. And the way that they do business at In-N-Out Burger has the same attitude. You go in there one of these days, here's an assignment for everybody in this room, right? Go in there and say, I'd like to have a double-double animal style and I have no money. Yeah, so you look at, wow, what are they going to do, right? But don't do it. Don't report back to me. My email's on every page is in that, so you can probably email me back and say that was the worst experiment I've ever done. I have money. But they're just assertively friendly. Number two, make eye contact and smile. That's what Disney girl back there said. Is the eye contact and smile. They're telling their people to look in the eyes. Why look in the eyes? This is such common sense. Why are we looking in the eyes?
Shows that you're engaged.
Why? What is the deal about the eyes? It's amazing, isn't it? I mean, the power of the eyes. The eyes are kind of like a window to the soul. And they want you to smile. They want you to be the one to do that. A company that does this very good, yes.
Double animal style.
Double
I
animals.
love what
Two
they
meats.
say. You have no money.
No, there's the no money part. I would remember. Double animal style is that the meat has been boiled in water and the onions are cut up really small. They got a special sauce. Isn't that what it is? Oh no, this is a cult for me. Oh yeah, the onions are cooked too. Oh yeah. I don't know how they make it. I don't care. I don't even care what the cost is. I like how I'm treated there and I like the product. Those two things just make me a winner. Yeah, let's all go to In-N-Out Burger. You know, a company that does really good about the eye contact and smiling is a company that I know you all go to and you won't admit it. And what store is that? Yeah, who said that? Yeah, you like Walmart too. Don't be ashamed because you like Walmart. We all go to Walmart. It's like we're moths to light, right? We keep avoiding it. But what do they have out front? Usually, in most of the Walmarts. I don't know if they have it down in the orange one. A greeter. And how old is this greeter? Whoa, careful. Careful how you start labeling people over 55 in this room. Okay? They are somebody with a little more mature substance. Okay? They've been around a little bit. Why did they choose your grandma or grandpa to be at the door? Say that again? That is not the answer. That's a good answer. They do not meet the supplement of Social Security. They choose these people for a reason.
Who's not going to smile at grandma when she says, welcome to Walmart?
That is correct. They're looking up for their walkers. Welcome to Walmart, right? Do you know what else it does? It prevents something. Theft. It's the biggest theft deterrent is that, are you going to dare steal from me today, sonny? You know, that kind of stuff. It just is not going to happen because they made that eye contact and they smile. It is amazing. And you can do it too here too. You know what happens when you start doing that in Orange City? Two things happen right away. What are the two things that happen? Help me out.
Well, the toilet paper doesn't get stolen anymore.
Do we have a problem? Who in this room has been taking toilet paper roll? Do we have a problem with toilet paper being stolen in Orange City?
Yes.
That's the first I've ever heard this.
To the senior center.
Okay, the senior center. which I don't want to get into. Two things happen, and that was kind of, one thing is that we have happier guests, and happier guests really love coming to the city. They want to do business with us and make your job easier. And the second thing is that when you're getting customer service, you feel better. Really, you're going to spend the same amount of time at work, and when you're making eye contact and smiling at somebody, your day is going to go so much better. Here's an assignment for you. I want you to choose any business in the next week, go in there, and I want you to change the entire mood of that restaurant, or that facility, or Nordstrom's, or whatever. I want you to do it. Or, better question, better assignment, I want you to do it here in Orem. I want you to choose an event, a time where you're going to go in and you premeditate this. This is called premeditated love. Okay? You're going to go in there, and I'm going to change the mood of somebody in this room because of me and what I can do and the power that I have. It's amazing the power you have. It is, you don't think you could do that. Yeah, you can do that. I'm belaboring the point. Number 3, this is Disney talking now. Greet and welcome each and every guest. That's their own wording. I went to Florida, went to Orlando, love Orlando, and I get off the airplane and there's a bunch of guys in hats and they say, welcome to Orlando, how may I help you? They're like pink ladies of the airport, you know, they're volunteers to make sure that you have, I think really good about Orlando. It was just a wonderful thing because of that. Number 4, this is related, seeking out guest contact. I want you to seek for these opportunities to change somebody's life, whether it be your own co-workers or a guest that comes walking in. Number 5, this is related to the very, very, very first thing, and that is display appropriate body language at all times. There's a funny story they told us at the Disney customer service thingy, where Prince Charming and, who's Prince Charming's girl? Cinderella. They're in the back, not in front of any guests, sitting back there just having a smoke, arguing up a storm, just using all kinds of letters. Then they go through the door and they're just like we want you to be. Okay, I know that a lot of, in this room today, and I don't know who you are, somebody has something horrible that's been happening in the last couple of days. Really, something that's just horrible, terrible. A pet dying, a spouse dying, a financial loss, a kid that's on drugs, it doesn't matter. We know that you have a tough time. We want you to try to leave that at home, and when you step on stage that you are a cast member. You're putting on a show. Number 6, focus on what you can do and what you cannot do. There's a story told of, what's that? It's Tower of Terror, California Adventureland. And if you notice around Disney, I forgot to say something very important. On every page, I tell you what the 4 most important things are here. And number 1 is always safety. Okay, it's number 1. It's before number 2, which is customer service. We've got to keep our guests safe, even if we're not displaying customer service. We can display customer service, but safety is number 1. So at Disney, at the Tower of Terror, they have this little sign that says, okay, if you're not this high, you don't get to go on Tower of Terror. Who's been on the Tower of Terror ride? It's fascinating. The funnest part to me is just going through the maze of getting up there. They build it up, and by the time you get on the elevator, which is okay, they have built up this really expectation. So the kid goes through here, he gets up to this point, somehow he got through the other check marks, and he was just an inch too short. Safety being number 1, here at Orem also, they said you can't go on the ride, but that's not how they said it. I saw the employee was incredible. He said, listen, I'm glad you made it this far, and I got some good news and I got some bad news, which is okay because they understand that the parents are right there. The bad news is you got to be this high, and I'm really sorry, but you can't get on the ride. However, you see the segue? However, I have some really good news for you. And he pulls out this ticket, and it's like a golden ticket. He says, the next time you come on this next year, right, getting the Disney highs and coming back again because they're always, always in the back wanting to come, They're addicted. That was my addicted thing. You're addicted. The next year you come, you show us this ticket, and you get to go to the front of the line with your whole family. And you get to go to the front of the line, not only this ride, but 2 other rides that you choose. How did the kid feel? It was a wonderful thing where they focused on what they could do and not what they can't. Number 7, thank each and every guest. And I don't think we say that enough. Thank you for coming, thank you for leaving. If you could do it at the front or the end, it just doesn't take that long to say thank you. Yeah, thank you for leaving. No, I erased that from the tape. Thank you for leaving right now. No. Yes, we're so glad you're leaving right now. Thank you. No, we're not talking about your kids, okay? We're talking about our guests. Thank you for being with us today. Thank you for coming. Thank you for paying your utility bill. Thank you for letting me come clean up your body on the ground because I'm a firefighter. Thank you for letting me give you a ticket. Thank you, whatever you do. Thank them. It's okay. Thank you. There's a city that doesn't do this very good. Who's my police officer in there? There he is. There's one. I got a speeding ticket up at that horrible city on the way to Logan. Mantua? The guy was not only the chief of police, he was the mayor of the city. The guy didn't even have to sign the ticket. He already had it pre-stamped. And he didn't even say thank you.
You never speed in that way. What are you thinking?
Okay, that's not exactly what he said to me. He said, thank you for helping our city grow financially. Right? He didn't thank me. And that's what I remember about Manaway or whatever it is. My grandkids are up in Providence, so I'm going to have to still go there. But now I go to the speed limit. He's got my attention. But I remember how I felt. Do not go camping in Manaway. Do not stop at the restaurant. There's no restaurants. Don't even go there. Go from Tremont to get down to Logan. I mean, just because he didn't thank me. And I remember how I felt. I just didn't like how I felt after the whole, and I was guilty, but I didn't like how I felt. Next one. Oh boy, this is fun. You guys are a good group. This is a good group. Number 8, preserve the magical guest experience. I just kind of, my Manaway story was kind of on that a little bit. It was not magical. You want people to, no matter if the news is good or bad, you want it to be a wonderful experience. Okay, so those are some of the communication. On the back, I have some words that you may want to put as part of your vocabulary. I call them the 10 most important words, the 9 most important words. And of course, my favorite word is yes, as much as you can use yes. Now, last color. Let's go to empathy. Where's my police officer again? There she is. What is empathy? Well, Kathleen, how many people? Kathleen.
There's a reason they keep you locked in that little room anyway.
Okay, then we put the engineers down there. We put you there for another reason. What is empathy in your opinion? Because you used that word on me before class started, before I even showed you flyer number 3.
This is better to use empathy instead of sympathy. Empathy is relating to a person. Sympathy is feeling sorry or whatever. You have to have empathy because you've got to help them get through the situation, a bad situation to deal with. If you sympathize, you lose control.
Wow, she's good. That's a very good answer. I was asking her before class, I said, how do you not get so involved in it? And I can get involved in a situation. I would be on the phone, that's horrible, that's terrible. You know, I mean, and I don't know how the firefighters and the policemen do it either, when they go to a situation and you have empathy or sympathy. That's tough. It's tough. But this is kind of the next level up on communication, and that is how you understand people and how you get into their lives. I'm not going to show you this clip because I can't remember if it was Clean or Dirty, but it was a good movie. And it's the movie Ghost with Demi Moore and Patrick Swayze, whose that who it was. And the scene in the end where they were making pottery clay together. Do you remember that one? Where he kind of like just got in and was feeling what she was feeling, and they just kind of became one. And the situation, I know this, you're probably thinking I have to go home and see that movie now, don't you? It's just kind of the ultimate in empathy. And let me show you the way that you do empathy. There's a few things that you want to remember. Number 1 is you want to listen attentively to what the other person is saying. And kind of a part B of that is listening intently without the intent to answer. See, this is easy. What you're doing is harder than what I'm doing. You have to listen to me. Sometimes when we're talking with people, we are so eager to give them the solution to their problems, when all they want you to do basically is just listen intently. Number 2, this is back on communication, but I want you to maintain good eye contact like a baby this time. I have a 3-year-old granddaughter who wanted to get my attention, and I was not listening intently, and I did not have eye contact, and she grabbed my face and said, I want yakisoba. Does anybody in this room speak Japanese? What is yakisoba? It's yummy. I didn't understand the little girl. She wanted me to understand her, to have that kind of empathy She wanted something. And I said, Maya, what is yakisoba? Grandpa, I want to eat. And it says, now that I understand. Take me to where you want to go. Find that connection there. And that's what we're trying to do here, is have a connection. The connection doesn't take a whole lot more time, but it takes a lot more effort. It takes you actually caring more about that person than what you're doing. That's empathy. Number 3, reflect on what they said. This is, again, these skills are not only for each other in this room and for our guests, they're really especially helpful when you go home at night and you're with family, friends, and whatever, is reflecting on what they said. What does reflection say? What does it scream out to the particular person, in your opinion? What is
They
reflection?
be thoughtful and conscious and aware of what they said without just spitting out what you think should happen.
I had, that is correct, by the way, I had on a previous page, on my attitude page, I had things that you wanted to watch out for. Just a minute, I want to read these to you because they are important. This all has to do with having empathy. Things to avoid. Apathy. Apathy means you do not care. You just, okay. Number 2, the brush off. Think about how you do this with people, especially the people that you love the most. You know, I just don't want to deal with it right now. Just let me read my newspaper, or let me watch TV, or whatever. Number 3, being cold. These are things to avoid. I'm back on attitude page right now if you're writing anything down. But number 4 is condescension, where you're talking down to somebody, and they know you're talking down to them. Number 5 is the one that you just made me think of, and that is being a robot. And that is just, you're not really a human being. There's just no connection there at all. Number 6, the rule book. Again, our number 1 thing here at Orem City is to have safety. Okay, we do have rule books, but you don't have to be a jerk about enforcing the rule books. There's a lot of ways of responding to people in a very positive way. And number 7 is giving somebody the runaround, which we do not want to do either. Okay, back to empathy. Sorry for going back and forth on all these pages. So reflecting on what they said is okay. When you stop talking, they have time to think. And I only pause 2 seconds. But it feels like a long time, doesn't it? They have time to kind of assimilate what's going on in their mind. Number 4, on empathy, validating their emotions. There was a person who called it something very interesting. He called it EARS, E-A-R-S. I can hear how upset you are, that's empathy. Attention, tell me what's going on. Respect is the R. I respect what you're feeling. And S, I'm going to help you solve the problem as much as I can. So having that, validating their feelings. Number 5, supporting one another. And engaging, and the last one is engaging somebody in a partnership. I got to tell you a story. This is going to be the last story. We're going to end after a little story. When I moved up here from Southern California in 1995, so it was 20 years ago, and all my clients were down in Southern California. And I promised my clients that I would go down and see them every month at my expense. And so I flew Southwest Airlines starting in 1995, and I went down every month like clockwork. I'd take an early morning flight, spend the day going from San Clemente all the way up to LAX, visiting everybody in between. And Southwest is my airline of choice. Some people in this room are going to write on a little green slip, I hate Southwest Airlines. Well, I love Southwest Airlines, and let me tell you why. Because they're everything about customer service that I like. They have a great attitude. I love their attitude. I love their communication skills. I love being on a plane when they start singing to you. And most importantly, I love their empathy. On one of my trips, and I took 72 trips down. I went that often down to California. I don't go anymore, but I went that often. On one trip, I had accidentally left my car keys on the Alamo bus. And my flight was a late flight. I wasn't going to get into Salt Lake City until about 11:30 at night. And I did not want to call up my wife, Wendy, at 11:30 at night. You do not want to call Wendy at 11:30 at night, trust me. And so I told this to my Southwest employee. Again, the keys were on an Alamo bus. I had already gone through the TSA mess. And he said, let me see what I can do. So you're telling me, this is a form of communication, attitude, and empathy. was repeating back to me what the issue was. This story kind of has everything into it. He says, so you're telling me that you lost your keys on the bus. What time did you get off the bus? And I said, about 5:30. And he said, okay, and you're telling me that if you get back to Salt Lake City at 11:30 at night, I should not call your wife Wendy. I says, that is correct. You do not want to call Wendy at 11:30 at night. And he says, let me see what I can do. He's listening, he's feeling. He says, I don't know if I can do everything for you, but I know this has got to be horrible. Empathy. I said, yes, it is horrible, it is horrible. He goes down the ramp, he goes to the Alamo check-in station or whatever it is, and he was able to get them on a phone call. And I was going through the line, showing my ticket, going through the line. This guy comes running up, and sweat was coming down this guy. He had been running for me. And he was just breathing hard, like he'd been going up and down stairs. And he says, are these your keys? Well, of course they were. There was a picture of my family and, Utah, the arch, and yeah, those are my keys. And I can't remember the guy, but I did write a letter to Southwest Airlines. Do you know what Southwest Airlines did? They wrote me back. And I said, no, I'm calling you. I'm writing you to tell you that you folks have such a wonderful attitude. Your communication skills are incredible, and you really felt what I was going through. Even though it wasn't your job to solve it, you really felt what I was going through. Today, Southwest is the only airlines I use. If they don't fly where I go, I don't go there anymore. I've flown with them 150 plus times. The lifetime value that I've given them has been incredible, and it's been a wonderful, wonderful relationship that I've had with them. And it can be the same here in Orem City. It doesn't matter your department. You are dealing with people. You're dealing with these creatures in here who have the fears and the hopes and the dreams that you have, and they also have the problems that you don't know about. But your job is to come to work with that wonderful, wonderful attitude. Get ready to show up here. We want you to have your game face on. We want you to be dressed appropriately. We want you to leave your problems behind. And get ready to also have good communication skills. Listening is your most important communication skill as far as what you can do. But more importantly, it's that 55%, that body language. We can tell when you're having a bad day. We don't want you to have a bad day. And finally, the empathy is just getting into their heart and their soul and feeling what they're feeling. You can do it. This place is already a wonderful place. When Brett Bybee and Jamie asked me to come here, I said, do you guys have any issues? And he says, there's no issues here in Orem. We want to keep it up on the upswing. We want this to be the place that people want to come. We want people from other cities to bring their money and come here because Orem has such a wonderful place. You folks are already wonderful at it. Just keep being a customer service ace, and you'll have not only a wonderful life here, but a wonderful life at home. It's been a pleasure being with you today, and I hope to see you again. Thank you.